It's Friday, the 27th of October 2023. Welcome to the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed Business News, where we give you the top 5 business stories you need to know in just 5 minutes. I'm Adam Lang, and good morning, Sean Aylmer.
Morning, Adam.
Story number 1, Sean. Reserve Bank Governor Michelle Bullock has given her strongest indication yet that the official interest rate will rise on 7th of November when the central bank holds its next board meeting.
At a Senate hearing yesterday, she said her immediate impression of Wednesday's inflation data was that it's higher than the Reserve Bank had forecast and will have a material impact in the bank's outlook. Not exactly an admission that rates are rising, but in Reserve Bank speak, material is a very significant word. The inflation figure came in at 5.4% for the year to the end of September. Bullock said growth in inflation was not surprising, given that petrol prices had surged 30% since August, and added that the data confirms that services inflation is fairly persistent. Meanwhile, Bullock said she expects that rents will peak within 6 months and will top out at around 10% growth before easing.
Sean, alongside the Reserve Bank's thoughts, does the market think rates will rise?
Yes, certainly the big four banks do. The one that's particularly interesting is Westpac. It has a new chief economist, Lucy Ellis. Lucy used to be the assistant governor at the Reserve Bank. In the world of picking what the Reserve Bank is going to do on rates, having the person who used to run the economics team at the central bank and used to do the bank's forecasts is very helpful. Definitely worth listening to. Yesterday, Ellis said her first rate forecast for Westpac is that the official cash rate will rise next month. While the headline inflation number on Wednesday wasn't too bad, some of the details in the Bureau of Statistics figures were concerning, she said.
Story number 2, Sean. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese got the Stars and Stripes treatment at a dinner at the White House yesterday, Australian time, with President Joe Biden saying the two countries must defend freedom and values.
It was a grand affair. Military bands, candlelit tables, centerpieces with a mix of American and Australian flowers, plenty of dignitaries, Australian ambassador to the US, former Prime Minister Kevin Rudd, he was there, Secretary of State Antony Blinken, Macquarie Group boss Shamara Wickramanayaka, they're all among the 350 guests. Bit of a love-in. I've got to give kudos to Albanese for commenting to his partner, Jodie Hayden, while on stage. So he said it publicly that he wasn't real sure how he was going to top this one on future date nights. Good line, that. Biden said the two countries must continue to advance freedom, security and prosperity and to continue to build strong partnerships. Albanese said Australia had no greater friend than the United States. Earlier in the day, Biden and Albanese held a press conference in the White House Rose Garden, told during the meeting that a new Speaker of the House had been voted in. Biden urged Congress to pass the AUKUS legislation this year.
Story number 3, Sean. Domain has released its September quarter house price report, and it says across all capital cities, house prices are just $2,000 below previous records, while apartments are $5,000 below highs.
There's now been 3 quarters of growth in both the house and apartment markets, with both up by nearly 2% across the 3 months to the end of September. Incredibly, given interest rates are still rising, prices are rising still, although not as quickly as earlier in the year. The median house price in Sydney is $1.6 million, while in Melbourne and Canberra it's just over $1 million. Brisbane and Adelaide markets are similar, around $845,000 for the median price, while Perth and Hobart are both around $715,000. Units tend to cost about 55% of the cost of houses in main markets, with the exception of Sydney, where an apartment now costs less than half what a house costs. Melbourne is where unit prices have done best.
Story number 4, Sean. Coles' new boss, Leah Weckert, said the company is working hard to reduce theft and it's a growing problem for the supermarket chains.
New technology such as smart gates and more security to help stem theft in stores is expected to be rolled out in over 250 of the most affected sites by the end of this year. While Weckert said it's a short-term problem, a couple of months ago, she claimed that lost stock was up 20% and the perpetrators ranged from organised crime groups to petty thieves. Coles posted a 3.6% rise in first quarter sales to a bit over $10 billion. That was helped by customers eating more at home and looking for special offers amid pressure on household budgets. The growth rate was less than that of Woolies. It reported its growth rate on Wednesday. In the liquor business, Coles said shoppers are buying cheaper beer. In the wine category, the growth in sparkling Prosecco and Rosé has been offset by lower champagne sales. The ready-to-drink category also grew strongly.
Story number 5, Sean. Lithium prices might have come off, but the alkali metal is still in high demand, with the board of ASX-listed explorer Azure Minerals accepting a $1.63 billion offer.
Cracking story this. Chilean giant SQM has been stalking Azure for a while and last month lobbed a $2.31 a share offer. Yesterday, the board agreed to the deal after somehow convincing SQM to pay $3.50 a share. That's 54% higher than the original offer. Not surprisingly, Azure's share price jumped 43% yesterday to $3.49 a share. Azure is pretty much the best performing company on the ASX this year. It was trading around 22 cents at the beginning of the year. Now $3.49. That's about a 1,500% rise this year. Lucky shareholders.
That's it. The top 5 business stories in 5 minutes. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Adam.
It's Friday, the 27th of October, 2023. Remember to hit follow on the podcast. And if 5 minutes isn't enough, then find our longer podcast called Fear and Greed on your favourite podcast platform. I'm Adam Lang, and that was the Fast 5 by Fear and Greed Business News. Have a great day.